Go out and vote. I'm publishing this at 7 in the morning.
Participate in your own enslavement.
Go and fucking participate in your own enslavement. That way you can bitch about it. You don't get to bitch if you don't vote. Okay, anyway.
Here. Yeah.
How do I look?
You look great.
Thank you.
How do you feel?
Look great.
You look great.
Looking good, feeling good.
So that's what it takes.
Hey, it's Tuesday.
It's a big day today.
It's a big day. I don't remember what's going on. Oh, this is
Arbor Day?
Arbor Day. Welcome to the Arbor Day episode of MKUsual.
It's like MK Ultra, but more normal.
Yep. It's an important day. So we're going to do some educating today.
We got some news. Tuesday, Newsday. Tuesday, isn't it? I was just thinking about
Tuesday. I can't do accents. This guy cracks me up.
I was thinking about the American Revolution.
Tuesday, isn't
They
it?
showed up and they're like,
Crikey.
"We're here to ruin your cuisine."
Yep. We were like, no, thank you. We got corn over here.
And we're going to make all your dentists very rich. Tuesday, isn't it?
You know, if you think about it, when they talk about Thanksgiving, they're like, they would have died without corn. You know what kills most people now? High fructose corn syrup.
They were playing.
We kind of fucked up.
They were playing the long con on that.
And all the rich, healthy people eat artisan bread, just like we had before. Anyway, you have a...
Well, I've been thinking about these last 4 years, and I got $4 left to my name after those last 4 years.
Hey, that's half a gallon of milk.
We can split it.
All right.
Yeah, each one of these dollars to me represents one of the last 4 years, and everybody's been going through it. Milk's $14 a gallon. Gas is somehow less than that. I don't know.
Gas is less than milk.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so
Oh,
each one of these years will represent...
that's the Ukraine war. That's 25% of our budget.
Here's $250 billion.
Yeah. Oh, I want to hold some flaming money. Oh, this feels good. This feels like I'm important.
Yeah, we don't set off. Do we even have smoke detectors?
Well, yeah. It's very possible we set off the smoke detectors.
That's cool.
You got some Topo Chico.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. This is I forgot what happened after that, but that's
Israel and Palestine,
Israel and Palestine.
And Taiwan.
Oh, I forgot about Taiwan.
This is
This is the American healthcare system.
This is the healthcare system.
After we ran out of people to vaccinate.
Yep. Got to create new vaccines now. They say they're creating a vaccine for cancer. Bullshit.
Are they really?
Yeah, they say mRNA is going to be able to do everything.
Oh my god, that's the plot of I Am Legend. A cancer vaccine turns everyone into fucking...
My fear is it's going to take away all our genitals.
And this represents this election year.
That's all the money spent on campaigning when people basically knew what they were going to do anyway. Y'all knew how it was going to go. We predicted it. That's my prediction. Y'all knew. That was a good segment, Nick.
Yeah.
You owe me $4.
I'll get you back. Yeah, I don't know. And one for the homies.
It's good to know I live in a place with smoke alarms, but won't go off if we light multiple pieces of paper on fire.
Yeah, I don't know. You're looking good. You're feeling good. I feel bad. That was cathartic. I don't know about you, but...
It looked like you were having fun.
Dude, I love lighting money on fire.
I gotta say,
Call me the U.S. Treasury Department.
Yep. Burr. Nick goes burr. That's my problem. That's why I don't like paying taxes anymore. I used to be a big paying taxes guy. I used to wake up on January 1st.
Big tax simp over here.
Yeah, but I mean, my problem lately has been that I'm like, why do you need my $6,000 when you just printed 300 billion this morning out of thin air? How can you even claim? And then you pay another. You pay the agents and the cops billions of dollars to come hunt people down who owe you. Let's say you owe $100,000 in taxes.
They have a literal.
You're
army.
still a victim. You're still a victim because they funded an army to come get you. When just this morning they funded a study, into whatever, and they just where'd that money come from? Nowhere.
Yeah. I mean, we could do a money episode. I think that'd be good. Here's something that fucks me up. There's like that stat that's like 1 million seconds is like this amount of days or whatever. And then 1 billion seconds is like 33 years or something. And then a trillion is like 3,000. I don't know. It's like the exponential increase, and people don't realize how much more money 1 trillion is than 1 billion. Like, I didn't.
Yeah, it's 1,000 billion. But that doesn't even make any sense to you because you don't understand how much a billion is.
Right.
Yeah.
I barely understand what $4 is.
It's hard to conceive when you're in a stadium. You put a normal person in a stadium who doesn't know anything about the stadium.
Right.
And you just see thousands of people there. It's hard to tell. Is that 10,000? Is that 50,000? You know what I mean?
Right.
Our brains break down in the thousands.
Yeah. It's just a fucking... I don't know. This one time I used to work at this bar, and we used to drink at the bar after our shifts, and our other coworkers would come around, they'd serve us, and then we closed down the bar, and I tried to tip my coworker who was serving us all night, and she's like, no, I don't want your money. And it was like $5, I tipped on my card and I had 5 extra cash I was going to give her. And she's like, no, I don't want it. And I just lit it on fire. And she's like, oh, no, actually. And it's like, oh, well.
That's kind of funny.
I don't know. Yeah.
That's a funny story.
It made me very happy to see her. It was like, that was one time I won the Midwest politeness game. Because it was like, no, I couldn't accept it. I'm like, no, I want to give it to you.
You're
and
like,
she's
okay.
like, no. Yeah. And I win. Like.
Damn. Did you pull out another 5 and give it to her?
No, that was my last
Good for
5.
you.
Everyone else was like,
it's
what
like,
the
well,
fuck,
you
man?
lost the money too.
Yeah, exactly.
Y'all lost the money.
As soon as you said no, and like I said, no, take it, then I decided in that moment. Anyway.
Well, as you all know, MKUsual does not endorse any political candidate or positions. However, it is a big Tuesday Arbor Day, and I wanted to do a segment this week, this show.
Yeah.
I wanted to go through the history of the October Surprise.
This is a surprise to me because I somehow didn't understand that this was a concept.
He had never heard of an October Surprise.
Yeah, I'd never heard that.
Well, he heard of it once when he knocked up that chick at the Red Robin. Why is Red Robin? In my mind, it's a hick place, but it's probably a nice place. Is it?
It's a good place to drink Mai Tais at noon.
Red Robin. You know what, though? You know what rich people do? They drink Mai Tais at noon.
Yeah.
And light money on fire. Dude, we are so bougie. This is our most bougie episode, dude.
You got the nice glasses.
Yeah. I'm looking like $1 million. So an October Surprise, I'll just explain it to you, Nick.
Yeah.
It's election day, baby. Go out and vote. I'm publishing this at 7 in the morning.
Participate in your own enslavement.
Go and fucking participate in your own enslavement. That way you can bitch about it. You don't get to bitch if you don't vote. Okay, anyway.
Here. Yeah. I have a different feeling about that, but I want to hear...
No, I'm with you.
I want to hear.
You get to bitch no matter what because it's your birthright.
Yeah.
I agree with you, buddy.
Go on.
Go vote! Anyway, so an October surprise, it's a concept that's been around my whole life. I didn't know how old it was. But it's the idea that in an election, because it's always the first Tuesday in November,
Yep.
it's the idea that...
You explain. I'm going to go turn the AC off. I'll be
Okay.
right back.
It's the idea that in an election cycle, that in October, one of the campaigns is going to drop a news story or something's going to come out that shakes up the whole election and then changes the whole ground, okay?
I got an article here. 15 October surprises that wreaked havoc on politics. Anyway.
Your list might be better than mine. 15.
Politico. I don't know. They might be stretching some of this shit, but
Well, I just have the big ones. Here's where it started. We can look through your list, too.
Well-
Text me that while I'm talking.
okay.
Okay, I thought this was just a thing forever. Apparently, it only started in 1980.
Before I was born.
Before I was born as well. That's why it feels like it's been a thing forever. But, honestly, 80 is closer, way closer to when I was born than... Anyway, it started during the 1980 election, which was who, Nick? Who was running for president in 1980? Which two people?
Theodore Roosevelt. I don't know.
Oh, man.
Reagan? It was Reagan, right?
Reagan was one. Who was he running against?
I feel like it was... I almost said Henry Ford. Gerald Ford.
Close.
I don't remember.
Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter. Fuck.
Reagan versus old Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter, oldest living president, I
Old
believe.
Jim.
Old Jim. Is that his name?
That's his, yeah, that's what I always called him.
Oh, okay.
Old Jim.
Well, in 1980, William Casey, the manager of the Reagan campaign, talked about how there was going to be an October surprise to the press back in July. The October surprise. Now, what was going on?
He coined the phrase.
Other than people, he coined the phrase. William Casey. What was going on in 1980? What was the big news event in 1980?
Fucking beats me, dude.
Okay, one, huge gas lines. Two, Iranian hostages.
Oh.
The Iranians took over our embassy. This probably won Reagan the election.
Well, good for them.
Good for Iran. It didn't go the way you wanted, Iran. Anyway, so Iran had all our hostages from the embassy, and then William Casey, the manager of the Reagan campaign, said there was going to be an October surprise, and that Iran was going to release them in October to help Jimmy Carter.
Surprise! They beheaded all of the hostages.
Surprise. Well,
Right?
no, that didn't.
Oh, okay.
No.
Damn.
What actually happened was Reagan won the election, and then they released them shortly thereafter.
Same thing.
But then that became an accusation. They accused Reagan of having like a secret deal with the Iranians.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. But unsubstantiated, But, even if he did, I mean, that's a pretty good secret deal to have. If I have a president making secret deals, releasing kidnapped hostages that have been in prison for a year, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good secret deal. All right, so since then,
1980.
That was 1980, okay? Now, that was just the first time the term was used. Okay, the next time it came up in a big way, we're going to look at the article, you have two, was 1992, Bush versus Clinton. And this one's stretching it. This is why I feel like this October surprise thing is a bit of a concept. And here's kind of the point of the point of this segment. In 1992, Ronald Reagan's Secretary of Defense was indicted for the Iran Contra affair. Okay, we're back to Iran. You know what the Iran Contra affair was, right?
Yeah, that's where they invented crack.
We sold missiles to Iran secretly to stop Saddam, I think. Anyway, whatever.
Well, they were selling. They were funding like the Sandinistas.
They were funding, yes. They were using that to fund some shit in South America.
Which I forget all the details. An anti-communist militia in Nicaragua.
Yes. They were okay, so Reagan won in the election where they come up with the idea for the October Surprise.
Shout out to Ross Perot, also. Favorite presidential candidate of all time.
I'm going to say this unironically. I have twice in my life gone back and watched the debate between George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, and Ross Perot, just because Ross Perot be dropping some bombs in that one.
I say we need more billionaires in politics, and I've always said that.
We need at least one more billionaire.
Anyway.
He was pretty cool.
Okay, Iran Contra.
So this is kind of a cop-out. So in 1992, the October Surprise was that there had been this trial of one of the generals.
Oh, what was his fucking name?
I have it right here.
Googly McJiggly.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
General McJiggly Balls.
Well, Caspar Weinberger was the main one. But I know who you're talking about. There was a very famous good general who actually made a career. Oh, what was his name?
Yep.
He was famous. Started with an N.
I think he was a Marine general.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, my dad taught me to like him. He was a good guy.
He's got the fucking.
What was it?
Knife
It wasn't
hand.
Schwarzkopf. Schwarzkopf is cool.
Yeah.
He was a Desert Storm guy. Here, let's see here. Who was involved in Iran Contra? Starts with an N, dude.
It's just right there, and I can see his face.
I know. Well, he had like a TV show and everything.
Oh, yeah, he did.
You could tell how educated I am on this. Oh my God, what was his name? Has he erased? Oliver North.
North, yes. Ollie North.
Ollie North, yes.
Legend.
Okay,
I was thinking of
legendary.
a different guy, but yeah.
So the October surprise that year was that there was just a bunch of like things coming out in the case about Iran Contra.
Yeah.
But also 1992, famously, the economy stupid election. It's the economy stupid. It's the economy stupid. That's James Carville. That's how they won 1992. Because when George Bush invaded Iraq for the first time. Oh, the classic Iraq invasion, the one we have the cards for. That was he had like 91% popularity.
I mean,
and then James Carville and Clinton came in and said it's the economy stupid. And the economy actually wasn't that bad, but they convinced people because there was some inflation, there was a little bit of a recession. We weren't even technically in a recession, but people were feeling it. I think that people feel things that don't show up on charts.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm saying right now, I make as much money now as I did 3 years ago, as I did 4 years ago, as I did 5 years ago. I'm saying right now,
yep,
the shit that's happening right now, the money I spend at the grocery store, the amount of utilities, gas, all that shit, that takes a toll on people. It's the economy, stupid. So don't be shocked at what happens tonight. So yeah, that was that October surprise. Now 2000. Gore versus Bush. Now, you know, kind of, it wasn't an October surprise, but in 1996 they had the Monika Lewinsky shit.
Well, that wasn't a surprise.
Mm-mm.
She was sucking and fucking all the time over there in the White House.
Now, here's the first. Poor Monika Lewinsky.
Sorry.
I feel like Monika Lewinsky's like the world's greatest.
I'm sorry, Monika.
No, I'm not sorry. You can say what, but. Well, you can apologize for yourself. We're not sorry, Monika. You didn't do anything wrong, but also like
It was
come on,
William Herbert Walker Clinton's fault.
do something with your life, Monica.
Yeah.
2000. This was the big one. So days before the November 7th election, it was Bush v. Gore. Do you remember what the October surprise was? You might have actually were able to vote in that one.
I was, and I have it right here. I didn't remember. This is saying that
I remember this.
old G-Dub got a little dewy.
George W. Bush got a DUI
Drinking
while running for
driving.
president. Just kidding. It was like 20 years before.
Yeah.
He was like 30 when it happened. He was like 54 when he was running.
And then they like found out he was doing coke in the National Guard or something. Allegedly.
That one's kind of fake. Actually, from this point on, I actually kind of remember these elections, so I don't necessarily need this list, but we can go through them. The big one, that was a big thing. Gore versus Bush. Bush was actually up in the polls, and then like 3 or 4 days before, it came out that he got... This tells you how much our culture and our country has changed.
Yeah.
Tim Walz got a DUI. A pretty bad one, where he ran from the cops and was going like 90 miles an hour. Like, for real. Tim Walz, the guy running with Kamala Harris, got a worse DUI than George Bush. George Bush, George W., old W,
Dub.
famous, probably, I mean...
Sorry, that's Wu-Tang. That's not...
That's good. No, that's good. Let's talk. Here's something I can't believe Aaron Scarborough's never brought up. War criminal painter. Who does that make you think of?
GW.
Oh, really?
War criminal.
You can't think of a
painter?
worse war criminal painter?
I guess I don't know who painted. I can think of a lot of war criminals.
Okay, think of history. Who's a famous war
fuck.
criminal? Never mind. We're not gonna, okay, anyway. So it came out that George Bush got a DUI.
His paintings weren't that memorable.
I think they're pretty good. I have a few. Just kidding. Actually, one time I went down a rabbit hole of reading painting sites about... I wanted to know if Hitler was a good painter or not. And I just stayed up for like 3 hours in bed one night.
This is the Argentinian landscape collection.
Well, yeah. And there's a lot of different takes. For one, Hitler's way better than you think he was. Because they say he was like so bad that he had to like destroy the world.
You
He
know
was
what?
actually pretty talented. If you see these paintings...
You know what his best painting was? The walls of that bunker.
You win. Okay, yeah, that's true. All right, anyway.
Sorry. He's a great painter.
No, he wasn't. This is what I was gonna say. It turns out because this shows you what little people know about art. So I saw his paintings and I was like, these actually look pretty good. He liked to do like cityscapes and stuff. But then like you read the reviews, like people would critique them, and there'd be all this weird shit like, why is that staircase like as big as the entire building? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he didn't actually. He had some kind of fucked up, and he couldn't paint people. He'd like paint a city street really well, but then all the people would be like hastily. He didn't like people that much. It turns out Hitler didn't like people. He didn't like them enough to learn how to paint them.
The signs were all there.
He loved to build infrastructure, but not people. So, and famously, Bush won in 2000. So far, we got a mixed record here on October Surprises. Now, 2004. Okay. I disagree with Wikipedia on this. I disagree. Okay, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I remember that was the first election I voted in, the Gore Bush election, and I was gonna
Me too.
I was gonna vote for Gore, and then I found out Bush was fucking rad.
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't vote in Gore Bush. I voted Kerry Bush.
Yeah,
You found out Bush was rad?
found out he was fucking sick, dude.
The DUI made you vote for Bush? I respect that.
No, it wasn't that. It was all the fucking
The coke.
the money.
He
was
stole
gonna-
Geronimo's skull.
Oh yeah.
We'll have to do an episode about that sometime. About the Bush
Skull
family.
and Bones.
The Skull and Bones. Yeah.
Sorry, Daisy's trying to fuck our couch right now.
I think I've learned from watching our old episodes, nobody actually hears anything.
She's fucking grunting.
Okay, let's move forward. I'm going to go from memory here, actually,
Okay.
at this point. I'm going to have Wikipedia pulled up. In 2004, who ran for president in 2004?
Well, you just said it, so...
Bush, Kerry.
Kerry. Famous.
Now I have to know how your memory is doing.
Not great. I remember that because of the skull and bones allegations, that they were both in... Well, there was like some controversy in the Bush-Gore election with the hanging Chad ballots, and there was like Jeb Bush was the governor of Florida where all that happened, and that he might have stolen the election, you know, like there
Oh
was
yeah,
some
because Jeb Bush,
controversy,
well, yeah, for Bush Gore,
but it was like
Jeb Bush might have helped steal that thing.
yeah. I remember that, and then after that, I started paying attention a little more, and I remember the skull and bones that. Because I was like tuned into that, like, oh, election fraud could happen like that.
Well, back then it was pretty common. In 2000, we had hanging Chads.
Which were like little paper ballots where you punch the hole out, but they didn't get all the way punched out.
Yeah,
so
the Supreme Court made them do this whole, yeah.
They didn't know which vote to actually count.
And then the country was like, we got to go all electronic.
Yeah, which that might have been the actual conspiracy, is that they wanted all electronic because that's easier to...
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, right. I remember 2004, dude. So I remember in 2004, when the election happened, I was in Iowa. I was working
It's a cool
for
place to
an
be.
unnamed campaign. Iowa was a swing state at that time.
Yeah.
I was working in Iowa,
exciting.
and I remember waking up on the morning of the election, and I was in a hotel, and me and my roommate, me and my hotel mate, we put on the TV, we were watching stuff. The first story was that there were a bunch of buses in like Ohio or Florida. Swing states have changed, first of all. Ohio, Iowa, Florida, all red today.
Yeah.
20 years ago, all swing states. Now they're all Republican. 20 years ago, all swing states. There was a bunch of buses who had their tires punctured. There were buses that were supposed to like bring old people to the polls or some shit.
Yeah.
There's always these fake controversies. Well, maybe that's a real controversy. I don't know. In my opinion, that one seemed like a false flag. But
The old people wanted to go
It's-
to Cracker Barrel instead.
No.
So they fucking...
it just seemed like something that's so hyper specific.
Yeah.
Like if I was like, I really want George Bush to be elected,
Because you don't
and
know.
I'm gonna hurt John Kerry, like what? I would go to a random nursing home and stab a bunch of bus. It seems like something concocted for a media story. This is
Yeah.
where we're going. I think an October surprise is a fake thing, but that was the first thing I remember waking up that day, and then blah blah blah, and then for the rest of the election day, I made some phone calls. We were phone banking. We had to use landline telephones, and then we hopped on a bus and we came back to Kansas. And then I went to my dad's house in Ottawa and I watched the election results. Okay, the October surprise that year was that on October 29th, Big Daddy Osama Bin Laden put out a video
Okay.
in which he took responsibility for 9/11. Now, I don't remember this. I remember the October surprise in 2004 being the Swift boat stuff, but I think that came out sooner. Remember Swift boat?
Was that the electronic shit?
No, Swift boat was that John Kerry was in Vietnam, and he was on a Swift boat, which is one of those little dinghy boat things,
Yeah.
and he had like a million Purple Hearts, and then like a bunch of people who were with him came out and were like, this guy's fucking full of shit.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But I don't remember this, honestly.
Same. I don't remember.
But apparently on October 29th,
Okay.
now I kind of do remember it. They used to release these videos. This type of stuff. Someday we'll do a 9/11 episode. Osama bin Laden put out a video in which he said, "Your security does not lie in your hands, Kerry Bush or Al Qaeda. Your security is in your own hands." That's a weird. That's a weird thing to happen 6 days before an election.
Yes.
It's a weird thing for Osama bin Laden to do at all.
Famously, a former CIA asset, Osama bin Laden, father of American modern politics.
It's a weird...
And great painter, also.
Yeah, the October surprise in 2004 was apparently, and Bush won, obviously, Osama Bin Laden releasing a video telling you it doesn't matter who you vote for. Which is an odd... This is an odd thing to happen. It's an odd that would even be played on TV, but I kind of remember living in that time, and they would... You got to remember, like, when 9/11 happened, we didn't even have pictures of most of these people. They made, like, a playing card deck.
Yeah.
And the pictures were all, like, these, like, this guy is, like, senior vice president of Al-Qaeda, and, like, the only picture would be, like, his high school yearbook photo.
Right.
So, like, then they would release these random videos of these people, and it would be like a big news event. It'd be like, Al-Qaeda's talking, but I don't remember this.
Hey,
but
pipe down. Al-Qaeda's talking.
yeah, basically. So looking back, that's a little sus. That was accused to be a George Bush plot to sway the election. And maybe that is true. Maybe he held that video, like, in his back pocket.
This is saying the video renewed public interest in national security and aided Bush.
Oh, please. That whole election was about that.
Yeah, like... That was
It is weird, though. All his videos, he'd be, like, behind a sound screen.
That was after we had gone to Iraq.
We were in the middle of Iraq.
Yeah.
That's the reason the Swift boat thing was the whole thing. And there was this whole thing about John Kerry was, like, anti-body armor for troops. And then there was also, here's another October surprise. It didn't happen in October. It might have. But I remember, and this ruined a dude's career, CBS came out with a report that George Bush's Air National Guard records were all messed up. Remember that?
Flubbed, yeah. I forget
that he was like a terrible, because he was in the Air National Guard during Vietnam.
But he was like, obviously his dad was the president.
Well, his dad, at that time, his dad was like CIA or Secretary of Defense.
He was like...
Shit. But they came out with a story that, like, all this stuff was fucked up. But then it turned out that those were literally forgeries. Somebody got a typewriter that was old.
They forged the flub.
And this is not a conspiracy. This was proven. They fired, I think it was Peter Jennings, actually. It was, yeah.
Damn.
They released it, like, live on, like, 60 Minutes, and then it, like, ruined... Actually, let me Google this here. The Bush Air National Guard controversy. He was in the Texas Air National Guard during the 2004 election. It came out, all this stuff, that he wasn't great. It was a big military election.
The Patriot Act.
Oh, God. Who lost their job here? Let's see here. Who lost their job? G.W. Bush Air National Guard story. I think it was Peter Jennings. Multiple employees. CBS ousts multiple employees for the fake George Bush National Guard story.
So wait, was it someone at CBS?
Well, CBS aired this big old thing on 60 Minutes.
I guess it doesn't matter where the story... CBS
That's
aired
true. I
it,
think they were just forged documents, but they fell for it.
I got you. Yeah. Which is their entire job, is to vet and verify information before they...
The 60 Minutes story had questioned Bush's Vietnam-era commitment to service in the Texas Air National Guard. Let's see here. The memo said that then First Lieutenant Bush did not take a mandatory medical exam and sugar-coated his stuff. Somebody lost their job. Who was it? I feel like it was Peter Jennings, dude. Do you remember? Does it say on your thing?
No.
Okay, this is a whole other thing. Who got fired? 60 Minutes. Bush National Guard. See, they probably that's crazy that they're like burying this. It was a huge thing. Whoever it was like a huge guy.
I don't remember.
Whoever it is, I'm gonna find it, and this entire time I'm sitting here talking about it, his picture's gonna be right here. Anyway. Well, that was a big one. That's what I thought of in 2004.
There was a lot going on in 2004.
It was a big one, dude. Iraq War.
Patriot Act.
Oh, yeah. 2008, McCain versus Obama. Now, that one, Obama was going to win no matter what.
Yeah.
But on October 31st, 4 days before the election, the surprise, quote unquote, was that the Associated Press reported that Barack Obama's half-aunt was living as an illegal immigrant in Boston.
Okay.
Also, there was a stock market crash that month. If you don't remember, 2008, big pivotal moment in my life, actually. It's crazy to say a stock market crash was a pivotal moment, but I do remember that story about his aunt.
His auntie.
His auntie was an illegal immigrant. Dude, first of all, dude barely knows his dad. Who cares? 2012, you want to guess what the October surprise was? That election?
No.
Okay. Okay. Thanks for playing along.
Is that when
First of all, who ran in 2012?
I'd see. I don't. Part of me is like, well, 2012. That would have been Obama. And fuck. I don't know. I don't remember.
Here's what Romney.
Oh yeah.
Here's what Wikipedia claims was the October surprise. Hurricane Sandy.
I thought you were gonna say it was Mitt Romney's weird underwear with dick holes in it.
Yeah, you think so. I don't understand why we picked Romney. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, Romney didn't make any sense. But then when you look who he was running against Herman Cain, the Godfather's Pizza guy and shit like that.
Yeah. Wasn't he like a doctor? Herman Cain? No.
No.
Who am I thinking of?
Oh no, how dare you do this to me? I know the guy's name.
It was another black guy.
Oh God. No, you're talking about
There's another black guy that
I'm gonna scream his name
differently.
later. I'm gonna scream his name in 3 minutes when it comes to me. Hurricane Sandy was a hurricane that hit like the northeastern shore.
Okay, yeah.
Especially New Jersey. Famously, the governor of New Jersey was that big fat guy.
Yep.
Christie. Christie went up and met Obama on a beach, gave him a big old hug, according to Rand Paul.
Big old fat guy hug.
Big old fat guy hug, said thank you, and that was credited with helping Obama win the election, which actually kind of might have been true. It's easy to think of Obama because he won 2 terms and he came in under such turmoil.
Yeah.
But in 2012, if you weren't alive at that point, it's easy to forget how bad shit still was. Both wars were still going. Economy was probably just about as bad. It started to barely recover around then.
It was the end times as predicted by the Aztec calendar.
It was also that. It's easy to forget how bad stuff really was that year, and people were like, "Oh yeah, Obama like fixed it." Like, nah, it was a pretty bad year.
Well, so I guess Obama prevented the end of days from happening.
That's true. He did stop the Aztec end of days. But Romney was up in a lot of polls. He like trounced him in the first debate. Okay, 2016. Who was running, Nick?
The Hamburglar and that chick from Wendy's. Wendy, that's her name.
Yeah, we got Clinton and Trump. Hillary Clinton, Trump. There were 3 October surprises. This is where I'm getting here. This will be our outro. We're going to do 2022, but There were 3. Do you remember any October surprises in 2016?
Yeah, Hillary Clinton drinks the blood of children to stay alive.
So that was WikiLeaks.
That was
WikiLeaks is considered an October surprise because in early October,
surprise, you were right the whole time.
yeah, they dropped the WikiLeaks documents. That was Pizzagate. That was all this stuff about like money laundering.
Turns out Anthony Weiner, huge pervert.
And also, you kind of right on 2 fronts. The second October surprise was that on October 28, James Comey announced that he was dropping charges against Hillary Clinton because Hillary Clinton was under investigation because she had deleted all his emails as Secretary of State.
From the Bengazi.
Yeah, from Bengazi and all that stuff. So there were 2 Hillary Clinton scandals that dropped in October of 2016. WikiLeaks, which showed that she's a war criminal and probably traffics children, and then James Comey saying, we're not going to investigate any of that.
Come on, guys, lighten up.
But her emails, though. Third, maybe you're probably going to realize it when I say it. What was the third October surprise?
I don't know.
This one was anti-Trump. It was a big story people still talk about.
Oh, was that the Stormy Daniels shit?
Grab her by the pussy.
Oh, fuck.
It was him on Access Hollywood set, behind the scene footage. Now this one scares me for real, because somebody kept footage.
I know, pussies
from
like
gross. Years ago of him talking about like how women love to fuck billionaires, and they kept it they just kept it somewhere. And then when he was running for president, they're like,
yeah,
let's drop it. I want to say for the record, here's my take on that. He said, when you're rich, women let you grab them by the pussy. He said, let you grab. Not a great look, though.
No, horrible. But it got twisted.
What does let mean? Consent.
Yeah.
It got twisted.
Yeah, it got twisted into a meme quickly, which is still not defending that kind of behavior, but we're not talking about that.
Now, there were 2 October surprises in 2020. Nick, do you remember who ran for president in 2020?
Let me think. That guy who invented crack. The guy who is somehow friends with all black people and the most racist.
Joe Biden is every woman. I'm every woman. When I hear the song "I'm Every Woman," I think about Joe Biden. Yeah. Did you hear? Okay,
when I hear
we'll get to it.
When I hear that song, "Old Man Sniffing Children," I think of Joe Biden.
He bit a kid on Halloween. Did you see that?
Yeah, dude. I think
Joe Biden.
Well, clearly
bit 2 babies. He bit babies. Anyway,
he's just doing a bit.
One of them was dressed like a chicken. I'm not talking like bit, like cute little baby.
Yeah.
Let me nibble on your toes. One was dressed like a chicken. Here's his leg. Here's a baby leg. You went. Man eats children. Anyway.
I think about the video of him talking to some little girl he's like giving a speech somewhere. He's like, "How old are you? 17?" And she's like, "I'm 6."
Oh God, that was real. I do remember that.
And then there's all the videos of him sniffing and.
You do be sniffing kids. He bites kids. Okay, so 2020. Here's the October surprises. 1, Trump and Melania got COVID. That was a big one. It was actually a pretty big deal at the time. Trump famously got COVID. He had to go to Walter Reed, and then he came off the I think he went on the helicopter. He came out. He talked to the press, like on the White House lawn. Then he went on the helicopter, and that was a big dude, Trump might die, because at that point,
Yeah.
We didn't understand COVID that great.
Pretty hysterical still.
Yeah. We were like, dude, this might be it.
It's not even a year in.
We were hysterical. Biden was running his whole campaign from his basement. He was literally like just putting out videos. They didn't have like campaign events and stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff was crazy. Never go back to 2020, dude. Never go back to that. And it turned out to be for nothing. That was what's the other, if you could think of another October surprise from 2020?
I'm going to say Stormy Daniels again because I can't remember when that happened.
It was
that was sometime during his presidency. So, yeah.
It's the Hunter Biden laptop.
Oh. Speaking of wieners and laptops and crack.
The Hunter Biden laptop, which I will say to this day.
And colluding with foreign governments.
Yeah.
Not to mention.
Just in case you don't know, Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son, has done this multiple times. But the story in 2020 was that he got a job on a Ukrainian... Wow, what a coincidence. A Ukrainian energy company's board of directors.
That's Burisma, right?
Burisma.
Yeah.
Made millions of dollars. There's emails on this laptop that are like, he gives all the money to dad. And like the money goes to dad and it pays for his 3 mansions, all this shit.
Gives me an allowance from...
What ended up happening was that...
Gives him a crack allowance from...
Yes, exactly.
Anyway,
Trump got impeached in 2019 because there was a phone call, or 2020, there was a phone call where he's talking to Zelensky, famous war criminal Zelensky. He's talking to Zelensky.
Great painter, though.
Great painter. And he says, like, hey, there's some shit that went down with Biden and Burisma and all this stuff. And he's like, I want to get to the bottom of it. What was going on was when Biden was Obama's vice president, he ran all these throughout his entire Senate, vice president, presidential career. He runs these money laundering operations. His son got this job. What a coincidence, on a Ukrainian energy company's board. That's completely normal. That's something somebody would look at on Indeed. And made like millions of dollars. And then at the same time, Biden is on tape, by the way, going over there and saying, if you don't fight... Okay, the Ukrainian government started investigating the company for corruption. And then Biden went over there as vice president.
After the phone call?
No.
Okay.
While Biden was vice president,
his
son got this job. And then... the Ukrainian government started investigating the company for corruption. Then Biden went over as vice president and said, if you don't fire that prosecutor, you're not getting any of our aid. You're not getting any of our military aid. And then he's on tape saying, and God damn it, they fired the son bitch, or whatever the fuck. 1, 2, 3, here's the video.
If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch.
There it is.
Got fired.
So he literally was making money from a corrupt foreign government and then went over and withheld U.S. aid. So Trump, while he was president, called and said, hey, I got some word that something weird is going on with this Biden shit, where they were withholding aid from, like, I need you to look into this. Which actually, first of all, is a president's job to look into corruption within the government. If he's like, hey, by the way, I noticed there's these big checks coming to you all the time. You're buying tanks and shit. Yeah. Can we make sure this is, like, on the level? That phone call was leaked and resulted in the second Donald Trump, or the first Donald Trump impeachment.
In 2019, okay.
He was impeached for investigating Joe Biden's literal international and treasonous crimes. He literally he was like, hey, this is weird. Why is a guy making millions of dollars withholding aid from you? And then they took the phone call and they used the transcript to impeach Trump.
Yeah.
By the way, Vindman,
what charges did they? So what do they charge him with?
Impeachment, dude. It's high crimes and misdemeanors.
But what were the actual?
What
was
that's
the
actually good.
crime?
I actually don't remember. There's no real crime though. So it's any high crime in this. It's like this old English term.
Okay, I got
So
that.
like, one of them was like, it wasn't treason, but it's like, okay, why was Trump impeached? Let's look it up.
It's not this. Yeah, it'd be like, okay.
It's kind of like January 6th. He was impeached for like insurrection, but like it doesn't really. Abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. So abuse of power.
He was preventing Congress from sending them fuckloads of money.
They're saying it's an abuse of power for him as president. By the way, chief diplomat to talk to the head of a foreign state and say, can you get to the bottom of this weird thing where we're like extorting you and my people?
This might cause war with Russia. Can you check?
This might cause a war with Russia. By the way, we might be walking into no war with Russia under Trump. No war with Russia under Trump. But he was impeached for talking to the president of Ukraine saying, can you look into this thing? Can you look into this thing where it seems like one of our biggest dudes is extorting money from you and doing unlawful inference in your government. So Trump got impeached for investigating Joe Biden's crimes.
Funny. And then
that's what happened. He was charged with a crime for investigating the guy who beat him in the election's crimes. Abuse of power. You know why it's an abuse of power?
No clue.
Actually, nothing about it. You know what they said? They said it's an abuse of power because Joe Biden was his political opponent.
Oh.
So they said you're trying to start a criminal investigation. Trump was impeached.
Oh, that's greasy.
For trying to start a criminal investigation of the person running against him. Hey, what's happened to Trump the last 4 years? How many indictments? Let's Google this. Trump was impeached for asking a question on a phone call. How many indictments has Trump got the last 4 years? It's at least 38. It's at least 38. Trump's 88 criminal charges and where they stand. That was January 2024. He's facing lifetimes in jail, the complete destruction of his business empire, but was impeached for asking a question on a phone call about if... Okay, anyway, that was the October surprise in 2020. Let's fast forward. It's 2024, baby. There was no October surprise.
Surprise.
Surprise. But it's this expected thing that has to happen. One, I want to make the point. An October surprise is something, now that I've learned about it, read about it, that I think is one of the ways they manipulate us.
Clearly theatrical.
It's just a thing where it's like, now here's the third act, and now there has to... It's kind of like how Marvel movies are all like,
Yeah. The timing of it, where it's always like... It sounds like most of those, some huge event that would shift opinion happens 1 week before the election. I would say after most people they probably have a good read on how people are going to vote at that point.
Yeah.
It's like Vegas has the odds out.
Well, also, like, a lot of these just happen in the month of October, which is a 12th of the year.
Yeah.
And everything's going to feel more significant the closer you get.
Yeah. So, like, say it happened in March, they could be like, oh, hey, remember that world event that happened? It could still be, like... used, I don't know, whatever.
Well, I'm going to say right now, the biggest event of this election happened in July.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, I'll say two events. One, Joe Biden in the debate, and then dropping out, and then the Trump assassination attempt. Those were clearly the biggest events. Nothing has happened that's bigger than those. But the media has to have this narrative of an October surprise. So here's been our October surprise countdown. October came and went, nothing. At the very end of October, I think it was like right before Halloween, they came out with a story that Trump loves Hitler. I'm not even going to read the source. They came out in some news article and they said like Trump says he wishes he had generals like Hitler. And it was from some general he fired, you know, and then that was like the big story. But then it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, you said that and I never heard that.
It didn't go anywhere. Yeah, it was supposed to be the big October surprise. Then we have a whole episode about it. The Tony Hinchcliffe joke. Puerto Rico is a big floating island of garbage. Now, when we did, that was the next October surprise. Then the next thing was, the next day, while Kamala was giving her big closing argument or whatever, Joe Biden was on a telephone call and he called Trump supporters garbage. He said, the only pile of garbage I see are his supporters. And then that was the big thing for 3 days. Mm-hmm. Then Trump was at a rally and Trump said, I'm going to protect women. I'm going to protect them whether they want me to or not. And then that was like somehow interpreted to mean he's going to whatever women. And then Mark Cuban came out and said, Trump's never been supported or surrounded by strong women. And then that was the big, and that's right now I think the latest thing. We're getting near the end here, but like every half a day now, we're having a new October surprise. And I just want to calm everyone down because here's the thing. If we've learned anything, October surprise started as a concept. It started as someone scared that Jimmy Carter would have a success. A Reagan person was scared that Jimmy Carter would release American hostages in October. It didn't happen. Reagan actually got it done. Then it became a narrative that Reagan was like making it happen behind the scenes, good or bad, whatever. Then every once in a while, every 4 years, you have a surprise. Some of them are big, some of them are small. DUI. One of them was just this guy's trial where there's just new things happening. The media manipulates you. Stuff seems more important now because it's closer to the election than the big things. The big things that happened this time already. Joe Biden dropped out and they installed someone without a primary, and Trump's been shot. That was the biggest stuff in July. But they're going to say Tony Hinchcliffe, Mark Cuban, this whole I'll protect women, Joe Biden calls us garbage. They build those things up. And right. What worries me about that is we live in this culture where it's like everything has to be new all the time. I don't even know if we have the attention span to vote anymore.
Right.
First of all, people are voting as far back as like September, you know, in certain states.
Right.
People are voting, but then you get this close to the election and it's like I've seen multiple people, even conservative people, say Tony Hinchcliffe's joke about Puerto Ricans is going to win Kamala the election. I've seen multiple people say that. Or say, like, if he loses, it's because of that joke. And it's like, that's insane. That's insane. And I understand these Beltway people, they live in this world where everything's, like, moment to moment. But, like, I feel like the media, one, are the enemy of the people. Two, they want us to live in this constant state where we care what they say all the time.
Yeah.
And we can't be that way. We can't function that way. Whether you support Kamala or Trump, you can't live that way where something's influencing your vote the day before.
Right. It like creates this constant fight or flight response, and which just shuts down rational, you know, it's emotional. It charges your thinking with emotions.
Yeah. Especially if you're anticipating, you're like, what's the surprise?
Right.
What's going to make me think about something? This is the surprise.
You can't, in a state of fight or flight, unless you're acting on your base instinct at the fucking base of your brain. You're not using your higher mind. And I when it's something that's going to decide the future of millions of Americans and the rest of the world, you have to take a step back. You're absolutely right.
You're not thinking about how things have been. You're not thinking long term. You're not thinking about what it's been like the last 4 years, how it could be for the next 4 years. You're thinking about the latest controversy.
Something that happened 3 days ago.
Something that happened 3 days ago, some piece of candy they put in front of your face. Think smarter than that. Stop being that way. I'm susceptible to it too. Everyone's susceptible to it.
Yeah.
Look at your life. Ask yourself if you are where you want to be. Do you want to make more money? Do you want to
Open up your wallet.
be more free? Go to the fucking store. Do you want to have the money to travel around, buy some gas, buy a plane ticket? What do you want to do in your life? Do you want to start a family? Do you want to like be more secure and have cheaper rent? Do you want to buy a house? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Because if no matter what you want to do, Mark Cuban, Tony Hinchcliffe, even Biden, who it's kind of scary that we haven't had a president for 6 months and nobody talks about it and you never see him talk. That's weird. Joe Biden, Tony Hinchcliffe, Mark Cuban, The View, none of these things affect that. Think about what the smartest thing is for you. As much as you might hate Trump, he'll be gone in 4 years, no matter what. And you know what? On the other side, if you really think Kamala's going to help you, you can also vote her out in 4 years. Vote long term. Stop thinking about local, small things that are happening. Stop thinking about what people think about how you vote. Also, you can just lie to people. Just vote however you want. Anyway, that's my segment. Yeah. That's the show, baby.
Vote for Ross Perot.
I'm writing in. Well, in case you wonder how I'm going to vote, I'm writing in Joe Biden. I'm just basically pissed that he got kicked out. So I'm writing his name in. And I encourage all of you to go out and write Joe Biden in.
Join the revolution.
You know what? If enough of you do it, it might be kind of funny to see his name on the TV ticker. That'd be pretty funny.
Dude, what if he won and had...
He's like, no! He'd be happy. He doesn't like Kamala.
Yeah.
That's why he put on a MAGA hat. Anyway, any final thoughts? Did I do okay? Was that an okay segment?
Yeah, that was great, man.
Okay. Lots of history there.
Yeah, that was fun.
What are your final thoughts? This is going out the morning of the election. You got any final thoughts?
I just wish I had more money to light on fire.
We can light the old money on fire. Oh, it's all wet now.
Well, hopefully we'll get some more money.
Oh.
Here.
Womp womp.
Thanks for tuning in. We love you. Please write in Joe Biden for president.